Okay, so today we're gonna do another fire swirl. I got some new inks today, and I have an order for 2 of these to go along with the 30 ounce that I did in another video. I have used this brand before from Hobby Lobby. It's Brea Reese. It's usually in the hobby section, not the scrapbooking and all of that section at Hobby Lobby. But I got some more at Michael's today. So cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and orange. I'm gonna use all 4 of those together. I've got my epoxy mixed up. I've got 30 milliliters. We probably won't use all of that, but I'd rather have it and not need it. And my epoxy is really hot right now, so it's gonna be extra runny. But that's okay. So we are going to be taking this off of the turner, just like the other videos. That's what gives us the swirl effect versus just a horizontal line. So make sure that your cup is secure. I have shelf liner inside my cup here, wrapped around the little rod that this is on. I've only used this particular turner a couple of times. It's got a lot of movement. It works for the size that we need. I don't know that I'll ever throw a big cup on it, but I like how it has a nice on-off switch versus the one I built does not. I have to unplug it. And it's quiet. The noise that you hear in the background is actually my other turner that I have going with the leather cup that's in another video. I'm actually putting this on a little thicker than I normally do. Usually I go around the cup with a thinner layer and watch for any dry spots to appear. But since it's really runny, it's kind of going a little bit more than I want. If you end up with air bubbles, don't stress it, because the way you're going to be moving this around, it's not really going to matter. If you're doing something like this on a spinet, it's not removable like something like this one or some of the other turners out there. That's actually fine, because I've done plenty of swirls on a spinet that I just moved the whole thing, the whole machine. I just picked it up and down. You just have to watch out, because they've got that air vent, and you don't want your real runny epoxy to go right down in that hole, because I don't know what's right behind those holes, but I'm betting it's something important. So I'm just thickening it up here. You can see that I have my base paint is yellow. I don't really want any white spots. Some of them end up with a little bit of breakup. I don't really want that. You can also see that there's a few spots that I did not spray paint as good. It is what it is. I gotta make sure and address that with ink. So we are going to let this turn for just a minute. I'm gonna grab my mask. I've got my embossing gun handy, the one from the scrapbook section. I think I paid about $7 for it. That's what I use to make my epoxy move. Some people use a torch. Some people use an actual heat gun, and some people use a lighter. I use this embossing gun because for what I need it for, it works. Apparently I left my mask in the house just a minute ago, so we're gonna do this without it, just this once. So I'm not gonna go crazy with the orange. I'm just gonna go just kind of here and there. When you're doing this, make sure that you get right on the edge so that it gets around your bottom. Whoa, that double dropped. I will say one thing about this particular brand: it comes out fast. So if you're trying to do a delicate spot, maybe be careful. All right, so I'm gonna go a little heavier on the red. It's okay to double layer like that. Good grief, that double drip too. Okay, that's all the red I'm going to do for the moment. So we'll do the yellow now. Since the base is yellow, this isn't going to jump out that much, but it's still important to have the colors that we need for the swirl effect. Yowza, that's coming. Oh, I feel like I'm double dripping everything. Okay. That's all the yellow we're going to do. I'm putting the lid back on that one. I'll go ahead and throw in some brown. I don't want to go heavy-handed with the brown. I don't want it too dark. This is actually a memorial cup for someone whose brother was a firefighter, and I'm making 2 of these, and we don't want them to end up too dark. I am going a little heavier on the top because I do need to cover up that bare spot from my spray paint. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this one because I think we're done with brown. And we're going to fill in the spaces with the orange. You don't have to fill every single space. Man, be careful when you're squeezing these bottles because it is easy flowing. All right, that's all I'm going to do for orange. I'm going to go back and add a little bit more red. A little bit more. I'll go back over some of my red spots just so that I have a little bit more pigment. Oh, golly. Oh, this is so... Oh, man. I'm getting it everywhere. Work over a protected surface or don't work on something that matters because you're going to mess it up. I can guarantee. All right, so I'm going to let that turn for a minute. Heat it up. Okay, I really don't want to do this without my mask because I'm getting over reaction, so I'm going to pause the video. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my mask on. We're going to zap it with a little heat. I don't want it literally falling off of the cup, but I definitely need some movement. I'm not really excited that the color is breaking up like this. I've had that a lot lately. I don't really know what the deal is. I'm just going back over it. It may be separating because there's not enough. I'm not real sure. Alright, I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and throw in a little bit of yellow kind of mixed in just because it kind of got overtaken. Oof, good grief. This is coming out so fast. Y'all be careful if you use this brand. It's Definitely like pouring it from a fire hydrant. If it gets on the inside, don't stress it. It'll come off with alcohol later during cleanup. Epoxy is a little harder to get off if you do that. Alright, so I've got plenty of that. Let's break up some of this brown. I got a little heavy-handed with the brown. Alright, that was orange, by the way. There's a lot on the inside of this cup, but that's alright. So we're going to heat it up. I don't want to scorch it. I just want to heat it up enough to give it some movement. You kind of see that one little area that's about to come around. It's the only spot that's got good movement right now. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do for the moment. This particular one has a removable arm. This is why you need something nice and secure. We're going up and down. That's hardly any movement at all. Alright, let's blast it a little longer. If you hold it in one spot for too long, gravity will take over and it'll fall off your cup. The epoxy will just slide right off. That's what those drips are on the paper. You can see them right there. It's from another project. You can see plenty of movement right there. Another good idea is to make sure you're not wearing any clothes that are important, that you would be heartbroken if they got epoxy on them. I've seen people post that they successfully removed epoxy from something, but I've only ever gotten it on a sweatshirt sleeve, so I haven't been too dire of need to have to fix anything myself. I'm just throwing some yellow on there to try and break up this brown. That's another reason you want to work over a protected surface, is because that ink sometimes goes everywhere. So since I did that, I got to heat this up again to get those epoxy clumps kind of moving. Every once in a while, this embossing gun will overheat. Probably because I've used it pretty abusively over the last year. If that happens to you, weirdly enough, just blow right there on the end. You'll hear the heating element kind of click. That's how I know that it has cooled off enough. I have a heater at work that I use to heat up frames that does the same thing to me. So I'm just turning and swirling and moving and all that. Every once in a while you'll end up with some bubbles right there coming out of the seam. Just pay attention to them. You can close them up later, or pop them later. It'll eventually kind of fill in. It's just because there's air in that little band right there. I think anyways. Maybe I'm full of baloney, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. But sometimes it just takes a while, and eventually the bubbles will stop coming out as it slowly fills in and kind of seals itself, I guess is a good enough word. Just continually turn. Up and down. I do have a dry spot right there. I'll address that. I'm not afraid to touch my cups, as you could just see. If I end up with a dry spot somewhere sporadic, I'm not opposed to touching it. I've actually had a couple of cups turn out really cool because they didn't turn out like I wanted, so I literally just dabbed all over it. And it made a pretty cool outcome. There's actually a couple videos on this channel that have that on there. I end up with dry spots. I don't want those. So I'm going to blast this a little bit again to get movement there, there, and there. I'm going to let gravity take over for a minute and kind of fill in that space. Yep, that did it. Now I'm just basically making sure all the points are covered, that I don't have a bare spot on my rim. I'm actually good with that. I like it. It's not over the top. It's not super blendy, which I don't want it to be super blendy. I want it to look like a smoke fire swirl. I'm just going to let gravity take over for a bit. Ooh, almost too much. This is why it's so important to have a nice secure fit. You definitely need it. This is going to be really nice when it's done. We are going to put the fire department logo. We're going to put a quote, and I think on the bottom we're going to put his fire department photo on it. I've got a dry spot there, just kind of flat, so I'm trying to fill that in right now. Okay, that's not too weird looking. You just got to kind of keep an eye on it. There we go, that got that. There we go. That's nice and filled in now. Just got to kind of keep an eye on it. That's actually really good. I'm going to turn this off so that I can put it back on there. And we're just going to let that turn all night. I'm lying. Not all night. I'm going to set my timer for about 4 hours because I've got another one over here that's got a nice thick coat of epoxy on it. And then that's it. I'm going to let it cure. I'll put a layer of epoxy over it before I do my decals. I'm just paranoid of the ink bleeding through the vinyl. It may not do that. I don't have a clue. I haven't given it a chance to prove me right or wrong. So that's it. Hopefully that was an easy enough explanation. I know I've done a couple of fire swirl tutorial videos, but once again, there they are. Regular brown, orange, cadmium yellow, cadmium red. All the same brand. Got that one at Hobby Lobby. These three at Michael's. These two came in a set with blue, so it was just the primary colors. This one came with like turquoise and something else. But with a half off coupon, you can get 3 inks for $5. That's pretty decent. All right. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the bottom or in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. You'll get all my current video uploads. You'll get notification of that. Thanks so much. Have a good one.